You ever get that feeling where you walk into the shop, look at your hands, and then look at a catalog and realize the world is moving about 6 times faster than your old knobby knuckles can keep up with?
Is this about that robotic arm video you sent me at 3 in the morning? The one where the machine was welding circles around a human like it was showing off?
It might have something to do with that. I was sitting there with my coffee watching this MySpot welder from International Technologies. It's this Japanese designed resistance welder. And Alex, it moves with the grace of a ballet dancer and the cold, hard precision of a heart surgeon. It's the NK23. It doesn't just stick metal together. It makes me look like I'm trying to fuse 2 pieces of bread with an old hairdryer.
See, this is where you start getting existential. But honestly, Tiger, a robotic coworker sounds less like a threat and more like someone who won't drink your last soda and leave the shop vacuum full of sawdust.
Well, you've got a point there. They've actually started deploying humanoid robots in the South Korean shipyards. Think about that. These things are walking into the high heat, cramped hulls of massive ships to do the repetitive grinding and welding that usually leaves a human feeling like they've been tumbled in a dryer full of gravel. It's not about taking the job, it's about taking the toll on the body.
I'm all for saving your knees, but how does the average person listening to this, the guy in his garage or the woman running a small fab shop, stay relevant? Do we all need to start learning C++ along with our TIG settings?
It's the technological hybrid. That's the move for 2026. If you're just a pair of hands, you're competing with a machine that doesn't need a lunch break. But if you're the person who knows how to tell that machine to lay a perfect bead, now you're the most valuable person in the room. The American Welding Society, AWS, is actually putting out the call right now for their FabTech research sessions. They're looking for the deep-level metallurgy geeks and the automation wizards.
So basically, instead of fearing the Borg, we need to become the person who maintains the Borg?
Exactly. The 5-day robotic training programs are becoming the new standard. It's not a 4-year degree, it's a sprint. You learn the programming language, you learn the maintenance, and suddenly your paycheck has an extra comma in it because you can bridge that gap between the digital blueprint and the physical spark.
I guess I'll put away my humans only protest sign. But let's talk about the business side of this, because most of our listeners aren't working in South Korean shipyards. They're trying to sell a custom coffee table or a set of hand-forged knives. How does a maker mogul survive this year?
This is where I see people trip over the finish line. You build something beautiful, you take one grainy photo of it sitting on your cluttered workbench, and you post it with a caption like DM for price. That is the fastest way to stay broke.
Ouch. Tell them how you really feel, Tiger.
Look, I've been there. I used to think the work should speak for itself. But the people killing it right now, the Russell Brunsons of the world, they understand the sales funnel. And I know that sounds like corporate sludge, but for a maker, it just means a craftsman's narrative.
Okay, explain that without using a marketing textbook. If I'm building a walnut dining table, what's my funnel?
It's not just the table. It's the video of you picking the slab and talking about why that specific grain pattern spoke to you. It's the email you send out explaining how to care for the wood so it lasts 3 generations. It's moving a stranger from, oh, that's a pretty picture to, I trust this person with my $3,000 deposit. In 2023, it was about reach. In 2026, it's about trust. If they don't feel like they know the grit under your fingernails, they're just going to go to IKEA.
I'll remember that next time I see you struggling to film a reel with one hand while holding a chisel in the other. Speaking of Walnut, can we talk shop projects? I saw the notes about the magic tool holder.
Oh man, I got a little obsessed with this one. It's a project from the Maker channel, and it's one of those weekend wins that makes you feel like a wizard. It's a magnetic walnut tool holder.
Wait, haven't we seen a million magnetic strips? They're usually just those ugly metal bars from the hardware store.
No, this is the stealth version. You take a beautiful piece of walnut and you drill out the back to within a hair's breadth of the front surface. You drop in these high-strength neodymium magnets, then you skin the back with a thin veneer. When you mount it, it just looks like a floating slab of wood. You toss a kitchen knife or a brass-backed saw at it, and it just grabs it out of the air.
Okay, that actually sounds slick. But you mentioned a humidor earlier too. That sounds significantly less weekend win and more month-long headache.
You caught me. Building a custom cabinet humidor is the ultimate test of your patience. If your joinery is off by the thickness of a piece of paper, the humidity leaks out, and those fancy cigars turn into expensive piles of dry leaves. It's all about the Spanish cedar lining and the perfection of the seal. It's the kind of project that forces you to slow down.
It sounds like you're leaning into that Japanese shop philosophy we were talking about. Less clutter, more focus.
I'm trying, Alex. I really am. I've been looking at these easy woodshop upgrades that follow Japanese design principles. It's about high efficiency workflow in small spaces. Instead of having a giant rolling cabinet that holds everything I've ever owned since 1994, it's about having the three tools I actually need for this specific task within arm's reach. It's about clearing the mental static.
I'll believe it when I can see the floor of your shop again.
Hey, that sawdust is industrial floor insulation.
Nice try. So, what's the big takeaway for the TigerDen fam today? We covered robots, shipyards, sales funnels, and magic magnets. Is there a thread here?
I think the thread is this: the world is getting more automated and more digital, but that actually makes the handmade and the well-made more valuable. Whether you're a machinist using a new horn slot broaching system to cut grooves in a custom engine part, or a hobbyist making a walnut tool holder, the goal is the same. Don't be stagnant. Learn the new tech so it can do the boring stuff, which clears your plate to do the beautiful stuff.
I like that. Let the robots do the grinding so we can do the dreaming.
Exactly. And maybe, just maybe, the robots can help me find my favorite 10mm socket that's been missing since the Ford administration.
Don't hold your breath. Even AI isn't that advanced yet.
Fair point. All right. If you're listening to this in the shop, go turn off the light, sweep the floor, and think about that one project you've been putting off because it seemed too hard. Friday is coming. Get your materials ready.
And if you build that magnetic tool holder, tag us. We want to see the magic.
Catch you next time in the